Welcome into the Cowboys Report, live once again on Monday, as we are on all Mondays. This is the Cowboys Report. I am Tom Downey. We've got a fun show for you guys, as we always, at least I always think we do. We're live right now on Facebook, on YouTube, and on Rumble as well. And we'll give you guys the chance to sound off in the comment section as everyone clicks that notification to tune in live here. Do you want to extend Tony Pollard before the franchise tag deadline, or do you want him to play out his one-year contract? P for pay, W for you would rather wait. Get those votes in for us in the comment section, and we'll give some shout-outs here as well. Gabriel Gonzalez says wait. Alan Williams says pay. In the pinned poll, where you guys can also vote, 75% have voted yes. We'll see how and if that changes over the course of the hour-ish long show. Thank you for liking the video, Clayton. I appreciate that. Daniels, Dennis say P. Ian says W. For wait, of course. Lone Wolf says P. Clayton says P. OG Rungtag says P. So, Brian Hayes, Jacob Suarez, Chris Soprano, all typing in their P's for pay as well. So the majority of the votes, including Unthinkable Gaming, Dylan Kangas, and James Watkins, are all voting pay Tony Pollard right now. We'll spend some time on what a potential contract could look like, why the Cowboys don't have that much leverage in the situation. So Nathan Simmons says P. Bruno says P as well. Mostly P for pay in the comment section. I'd say over 75%, which is now 74%, which is the number in the pinned poll. Now, in terms of the backup behind Tony Pollard, plenty of linking the Cowboys to various veteran backs. So let's play a game. Would you rather have Dalvin Cook at, let's say, $7 million or Ezekiel Ellliott at $3 million? And if you want to adjust the numbers a little bit, that's fine too. I took a guess as to what maybe it would cost. Might be a little high on Zeke, maybe a little low on Cook. 1 for Dalvin Cook, 2 for Ezekiel Ellliott. And because it is a game that's fun, you have to pick one. You can't pass the buck and say neither. C Plays is spamming his 1 for Ezekiel Ellliott. Jacob Suarez says 1. Sam B says 1. A 2 from Alan Williams, the second. And Dylan Kangas, OG Rungtag, says 2. Let's see what else we got in there. Daniel says 2 just for the giggles. But Nathan Sims, JND, 6. Albert, Josh, James Watkins, all say 1 from that perspective. XXO says 2. Jose Ruiz, Neil, Frederick Johnson, all spamming their 1s. 2s from Thomas Cooper, Nicholas Summer. Ben Loving says 2 because Pollard's a starter. Don't need a $7 million backup. David Smith says 2. Let's see. Damon says 1. I see a 0. You got to pick one there. Mike Spalding, David Smith, G-Teos, Clayton Lockhart, all spamming 2. So much more of an even vote on that front, which makes me think I got the numbers a little bit right in terms of the size for both. Goals to get 50-50 votes, right? All right. Now, Father's Day was yesterday. We, of course, don't have a live show. So this is your chance on the live show to shout out your dad in the comment section, and then I'll give him a shout-out. So put your dad's name in there, especially if they're a Cowboys fan. We'll show them some love on Father's Day. Father or father-in-law. Of course, my dad, John, and my father-in-law, Bob. I just got to hang out with them. Love those guys. So I see Ronnie is Lone Wolf's dad. I see Mark Kangas is in there. Luciano is in there. Give some more. It's a little bit longer of a name to type out than just a 1 or a 2, so I'll give you guys some time. I see, all right, Alan Williams Sr. That certainly checks out there, Alan Williams. P.O., I see Constant Gene, Carl Banks, Chris Coward, Carlos, stepdad Ernesto, Mark Carderas, R.I.P. Sorry, Mark. A different Mark from Spencer. Brian, J.D., Kenny is in there. Another Mark. A lot of Marks in the comments there. That's an interesting common name, I guess, there. Charles David Smith. Brian Chavez says Jerry Jones. There you go. Paul. Damon down in Florida. Oh, I got 2 Damons in there. That's fun there. A couple of you guys are behind. Make sure you click the live button. Otherwise, you're like 2-3 minutes behind on that front there. You're typing your 2s or your 1s. Thomas Cooper, Benjamin, and more. So Keep the comments coming with your dad's name. We'll give some more shout-outs this Father's Day. My Father's Day gifts actually arrived late, which I felt bad about, but I did get them this year. That makes me happy. Ben Loving says Dak Prescott, the NFC East daddy. Wins-wise, yes, that would be true. Alan Williams Sr., NFC should have told us Happy Father's Day from DMV. That's what the results say as of late. I think we'll end it on that one. It's fun. Appreciate that, guys. We will also break down some breakout candidates on offense today. So name a player who you think breaks out this year on the offensive side of the football. Who is it? Breakout candidates. I don't put first-year players in there because I never view them as a breakout player. Like, that's like they just arrive, There's nothing to break out from in terms of their NFL. Kevontae Turpin from Izzy. I would like that outcome. I'm not sure it's going to happen. Jalen Tolbert. I don't know how much more CeeDee Lamb can break out. If he has another step forward, that's like just, okay, he's a top 5, top 3 receiver. Jalen Tolbert, Gallup. I thought about putting Michael Gallup in here. I'll put him in the end in the bounce back category. So when we do these videos, we talk about different players each time. I don't mind that one, though. I kind of put Brandon Cooks in the same category. Matt Waletzko, that's a good one. Michael Gallup, Simi Fehoko, Jake Ferguson. There are some Sam Williams ones. Defense. When we get to defense, he will be the first one on there, I promise you. Let's see. Fullbacks live Hunter Lipke. He's a UDFA, so I won't count him, but most likely UDFA to make the team? Yeah, I think he's in that conversation. Some more Gallup ones. Bounce back here from Gallup sure would be nice. Malik Davis, that's a good one, JND. And Tyler Biadasz in there as well from James Watkins. Now, if you want us to get today's show started, we need you to like the video. We only have 47 likes with over 180 people watching. We're not even asking for half of you to like the live video right now, although it would be great if just every single one did it. Sam said he almost made it 69, but he didn't, so I'm proud of you, Sam. 80 likes, and we'll start today's show. We're not even asking for 50%, which would be great if we can get to that figure. That's 180 live. You can do the math on it. We're just asking for 80. That's 100 people who don't have to like it yet. So if you haven't already liked the show, please do so. It should be a habit that you form. That's why we ask it every time on our live shows. Helps this video get shown to more people, maybe non-subscribers, maybe people who have never watched us before. Helps us grow so that as our studio expansion project continues, we can afford to make that happen. So like the video if you haven't already. We got to 83 likes. I appreciate that, guys. Very kind of you. Thank you very much. We might even get to 50%. Wouldn't that be fun? Now, here's what's coming up on today's live show. Cowboys rumors and news. You've also got Cowboys breakouts on offense only. Not worried about the defense today. That'll be a future video. We'll split them up into two. Cowboys mailbag. Hashtag Cowboys or Super Chat. A bunch of super thanks we have to get to, by the way. So you might need to Super Chat if you want to get on the show. We'll do... What should we do this price tag at today, Sam? Did 14. Yeah. Oh, Jim Bean's getting all bouncy. Wow, that's weird. Yeah, that's kind of bouncing all strange-like against our green screen, which makes no sense. There we go. We fixed it. Huh. Weird. Might be because there's a bit of gold behind it. Might have been against my orange shirt causing the issue. What should we set the price tag at today for shots? Feel free to chime in the comments here too. We did 14 on National Shot Day, which was June 14th. That was probably too low. Yeah, sorry, National Bourbon Day. Thank you, Sam. We'll set it at 20. We'll set it at 20. See if anyone bites for shots on that front there. So we appreciate that. And we'll break down some free agency rumors for the Dallas Cowboys. All coming up live on today's show. Welcome into the Cowboys Report, made possible today by RexMD. If you sometimes lack some confidence in the bedroom, if you want a more fulfilling sex life, RexMD here to help make that possible. 90% off and only pay $2 per dosage at rexmd.com/chat. Now, before we get going on today's show, Father's Day was on Sunday, just passed. We did not have a show on Sunday. I was off for Father's Day. we put out the mailbag from earlier in the week, I believe, or a previously filmed segment. So, shout out your dad in the comments section. Show him some late Father's Day love right now. We're going to begin with Tony Pollard and his status with the Dallas Cowboys. Now, ESPN reports Pollard is open to a contract extension with the Dallas Cowboys, which borders a little bit on of course he does, but we'll come back to the details on it here. Now, Pollard, unlike other franchise tag backs, Josh Jacobs, Saquon Barkley, has already signed his franchise tag tender, $10.09 million. He is guaranteed that sum this year. There is no getting out of it for the Cowboys. The franchise tag extension deadline is now less than a month away on July 17th. If a long-term deal is done, then it has to be done by then, or else he will play the year on the franchise tag. Now, here's what else Pollard had to say. He's in a situation, I'm told, where he's looking at this as a win-win because he signed his franchise tag tender at the $10.1 million clip, Jeremy Fowler says. He's injured coming off ankle surgery, so he's got that security regardless. Quick note, credit for Fowler getting the ankle surgery right. It was ankle surgery, not leg fracture surgery. But the Cowboys want to step up and try to do a long-term deal. He's certainly open to that. Nothing moving on that yet, but there's a lot of time before that July 17 deadline. Certainly both sides are expected to reconvene and talk about a potential long-term deal. The Cowboys would love to get its cap hit down a little bit so they could sign some other players. Whatever extension the Cowboys would be able to give Tony Pollard would bring his cap hit down, potentially by a significant amount. So it does make some sense for both sides to at least explore the market of a potential extension. The problem that both sides are going into here is that even though Pollard has gotten better every single year from a volume perspective, with no real drop-off in terms of the production, the running back market is not a good one to be involved in. There are plenty of backs, including Barkley and Jacobs, who are unhappy with the way the running back market has played out. A lot of the big-time contracts, Ezekiel Ellliott, Dalvin Cook, those guys did not make it through their contracts. There is a risk that comes with paying a running back, even one with a lighter career workload like Tony Pollard, because the list of guys that have made it worthwhile for their entire contracts is actually pretty short. So do you want to extend Tony Pollard? More on this conversation, what a deal could look like here in a little bit. But first, do you want to? Before the deadline, by the way, before that July 17th deadline, P for pay, W for wait. If the ad plays here on YouTube, take advantage and go vote at the pinned comment. Now, Bleacher Report had a contract idea for Tony Pollard. They had pitched a 3-year deal worth somewhere between $27 and $30 million total. That's $9 to $10 million per year, $15 million guaranteed. And that deal is a pretty solid contract for Pollard, outside of one potential issue that him and his team might approach it as. It's the guaranteed money aspect of it. Because $15 million guaranteed in and of itself looks fine. But when you already have $10 million guaranteed, is the additional $5 really going to move the needle? Surely he thinks he could get at least $5 million guaranteed and more next offseason, right? $15 million in just a normal contract works. That deal, without the franchise tag being a factor, fits. It makes sense. That guaranteed figure of $15 million, actually pretty solid. Beats out, or is the same as Austin Eckler. Beats out the Miles Sanders contract. And by the way, the guaranteed money also shows you the status of the running back market, because you've got 3 rookies on here with the most guaranteed contracts in Bijan, Najee, and Travis Etienne. But it's a 1-year, $10 million deal no matter what right now for Tony Pollard. Does he think he could get a 2-year, let's say, $17 million deal with $5 million guaranteed next offseason? Yeah, I think he thinks he could. Now, the running back market is rough, and there might be something said to not wanting to try to gamble that path and locking yourself into a contract. But Pollard probably only gets one shot at a sizable contract. That's just how life works as a running back in the NFL. You're not normally going to get 2 cracks at it. By the time you're due for that second crack, well, you're old, you might have shown some signs of decline, and teams don't pay back the way that they used to. So it's a tricky spot for Tony Pollard, who does have the leverage because he's got $10 million guaranteed already. Now, fellas, if you sometimes lack some confidence in the bedroom, well, we're excited to tell you guys about RexMD, the online source for men's wellness. RexMD offers an easy and discreet way to get medication you need for ED without having to visit a doctor's office. With just a few clicks, you have your medication delivered straight to your door and at a fraction of the cost of traditional pharmacies. RexMD's teams of licensed physicians will work with you to find the right treatment plan, and their medication is made in the USA so you can trust its quality. Their customer support team is available 24/7 to answer any questions you might have. So if you're ready to take control of your sex life and say goodbye to ED, head over to rexmd.com/chat and start your consultation today. Take advantage of the best deal they've ever offered and save up to 90% off. Only pay $2 per dosage with our exclusive link. Go to rexmd.com/chat for this limited time deal. Starter packs of generic Viagra or Cialis are available to get started. That's rexmd.com/chat for up to 90% off. Links in the comments and the description of today's show. Let's talk injury news, notes, and updates now on Jourdan Lewis. This one's not ideal. He faces, I think, a pretty tough path to avoid beginning training camp on the PUP, the physically unable to perform list for the Cowboys. Lewis has told the Dallas Morning News that he was told by the doctors that it was one of the worst Frank injuries they've ever seen in their last 35 years, which doesn't sound good to me. It is unclear, it's at least murky, if Jourdan Lewis will be back in time for week 1, let alone training camp. So this is what Jourdan Lewis had to say on his timeline. We'll see. We don't want to be on the PUP list. I'm going to be having crazy to make sure I'm not on the PUP list. I know by training camp I'll be cutting and stuff like that, just trying to see if it will be full speed. It was pretty severe. Just getting used to this new foot because I know it will never be back to normal. I just want to be able to play on it again and be efficient. The surgeon said I'll be fine. It's just pushing through that soreness. That's really what we're working through right now. That does not inspire confidence in me. Jourdan has kept referring to it as his new foot, which is probably pretty accurate. Not going to be the same. Doesn't mean it's worse necessarily, but it will be different for him from now on. I would be a little surprised if he was on the active list come day 1 of training camp, because if they're not sure it's going to be full speed, then they're not going to be aggressive and put him on the active list. They'll put him on the PUP list and play it safe, which means Jourdan Lewis can't go. Well, that explains why you've seen some Israel Mukuamu, Kelvin Joseph in there in the nickel. Deron Bland's been getting some outside and some nickel work, too, at minicamp OTAs because they've been giving Diggs and Gilmore rest days. And Deshaun Wright's been banged up. So there is depth at corner, but we'll see about Jourdan Lewis. I think his status is maybe a little bit more murky than what I maybe thought it would be with a more maybe normal Frank injury. So will Jourdan Lewis be ready for week 1? Y for yes, N for no. Get those predictions in for me in the comments section right now. While you're down in the comments, double check, make sure you guys are subscribed or sub for the first time if you haven't already done so. We have free Cowboys videos for you each and every single day, oftentimes multiple times per day. So help us out. Hit that sub button right now for more free Dallas Cowboys YouTube videos. Let's move to Dak Prescott for MVP conversation, which I find interesting. Adam Rank of NFL Network, who also had the Cowboys going 9-8, has Dak as a dark horse MVP candidate. So not sure how we tie those two together as being the same. I also would wonder, can you really be a dark horse MVP candidate if you are the Dallas Cowboys QB? Fair or not, that's kind of always the level of pressure that gets put on the quarterback. But I do think there was a good chance for buzz around Dak, as there's been in years past, if the Cowboys continue to win football games and if his interceptions, as they historically indication that they should, regress back to the mean, which is a positive thing. Will be fewer interceptions for Prescott. Here's what Adam Rank of NFL Network wrote. With Mike McCarthy at the controls and better options out wide, Dak won't come anywhere close to last season's league-high 15 interceptions. I think he sizzles all year long. Supported by a ferocious Micah Parsons-led defense, Prescott should have the 2023 Cowboys squarely in the Super Bowl conversation. And if you're the reason why America's team is a top-notch title contender, well, you're a top-notch MVP candidate. Which, that argument makes sense. Also, I'm not sure I would describe that as dark horse, but I digress. Maybe it was based on the odds, and that's a factor why I counted as dark horse there. Prescott's interceptions did jump in 2022, but the performance overall for the offense was still impressive. If the interceptions can, even if you just get rid of the ones that were off the receiver's hands, if that's the only thing that changes, the offense suddenly seems to have a lot more confidence and be a lot better on that front. But he's been a 30-touchdown-plus guy the last 2 years when healthy in 2021 and 2019. We will see how this Cowboys offense looks, though, with Mike McCarthy. That is a significant change, and it could lead to fewer points, more consistency, better results, worse results. We don't know yet, and I would bet probably a bit of a slow start as well. So what is the percent chance you think Dak Prescott wins NFL MVP? The answer should be low, by the way, because that's what the odds are. The odds of any one player, even any quarterback winning MVP, are actually still pretty low. So the number should be low, but go ahead and vote for me in the comment section. Because I know many of you guys care, but I did want to check in on the Stefon Diggs situation since he'd been constantly linked to the Cowboys because of his brother Trayvon, who said, we got to get bro to Dallas. The alleged source of the issues for Stefon Diggs was his role in the offense, the play calling, etc. Diggs was upset about the playoff loss last year. He was screaming at Josh Allen on the sidelines, and I guess that time did not heal that wound necessarily, and he remained fairly upset with the Bills overall. It is kind of interesting and / funny to see Diggs upset about his role because he was 5th in the NFL in targets last year, which is a lot. Now, there were games where he wasn't as big of a factor, and 30 is still a big gap between him and the guy that replaced him in Minnesota in Justin Jefferson. And if the Bills had won that game, he wouldn't have been mad anyway. But you didn't win, so the selfish part kind of comes through. I don't have that much interest in a Stefon Diggs trade. I don't know if the drama's worth it. He kind of, I don't trust it. He did it in Minnesota. Now he's doing it in Buffalo. It raises a slight red flag as far as I'm concerned. So that's your Diggs update. Seems like they're past it, but we'll keep an eye on it moving forward. Give me a quick sip of water here. As I was about that close to coughing everywhere, which would have been horrible. We will be live, by the way. Say what, Sam? It's like, no. It's fine. Yeah, my bad. It's fine. We'll scrap it. We will be live, folks, for the 2023 NBA Draft, as I still got the lingering remnants of that flu I had earlier this week. Or I guess last week. We will be live for the 2023 NBA Draft on the Chat Sports YouTube channel. Wemby's going number 1. Who goes number 2? How many trades will there be? We'll find out in the not too distant future. So make sure you guys are subscribed to the Chat Sports YouTube channel, youtube.com/@chatsports. All right, how many years have you guys been a Cowboys fan? Get a quick sip of water here again. Get those votes in. How many years? And forever is also a very valid voting there, I promise you. Give you guys a chance to actually comment. I see 12 from Lone Wolf, Life from Brokov, Alan Williams second, most of his life. Toxic Tom Downey burner count. Since Eve took a bite from the apple. That's a good way to describe it. I like it. Since 1990 from Mr. Moreshi. Zeno saying 10 going on 11 years. OG Rungtag his whole life, 35 years. Ben Loving, 30 and a half, and I'm 30 and a half years old. Since 1975 from Nathan Sims. 50 years from Donnie. J&D's got life in there. Since 1989, 42 years, 33 years, too long. Well, that one hurts. 47, 29, 38, 29, 28. Since birth, 9 life, 4 life. Since Bob Hayes, Edwin Strickland, 9. Since my mom and godfather liked them. Good answer, Dwayne. Since 1969 from Herman in there. I appreciate that, my friend. How many years? You guys can go ahead and sound off for me in the comment section. Oh, I got it right. Nice. Thank you, Mr. Moroshi. I'm sure I'll botch it again later, but I appreciate that. Since 2005, 1990. There we go. Since 1977, 22. 1988 from Josh Edwards. So a lot of long-timers in there. You love to see it. I would expect nothing else since it is June. This is a bit of a boring time in the NFL, and only the diehards are still watching. We appreciate your support here at the Cowboys Report. If you guys want some defensive breakout candidates, then share this video. We're about to break down the offensive breakout candidates. I've got 6 names-ish. I cheated on one of them, as I always do on these videos, but we're going to break down the offensive ones. If you want defensive breakout candidates, you have to share today's video. Help us out and do it right now. This is the Cowboys Report. I am Tom Downey. First up on the offensive breakout candidates list, about Jalen Tolbert. Lots of routes you could have gone at wide receiver in general. I'm going to go with Tolbert, who has drawn praise after every open OTA, minicamp session so far. Seems like he's much more comfortable, much more confident, much more locked in. Everything trending in a better direction for Jalen Tolbert than a disastrous season last year. He got hurt, he got overwhelmed, he wasn't confident. He's moving faster, not because he is faster, because he's just more comfortable out there, which is a big deal for Tolbert, because the Cowboys can't have this again. They can't have a spot that was one of their biggest needs last year, their third-round pick who was super hyped, being a complete non-factor again. Now, maybe in an ideal world, Tolbert doesn't play that much anyway because of the presence of CeeDee Lamb and Brandon Cooks and Michael Gallup. But how does football work? Guys get banged up at times. You'll probably need at least a few series out of Jalen Tolbert. Now, Gallup could have been a candidate here. I think he's more bounce back, kind of same with Brandon Cooks. Almost put Timofeyoko on this list too. Devontae Turpin is a quality name as well, but I'm going to go one position max for each of these groups. Well, except for one, which I'm cheating again, but I didn't want to do 3 receivers on the list, so I picked just only one receiver there. I went with Tolbert in the end. So do you believe in the Jalen Tolbert redemption arc that at least the Cowboys are hoping happens this year? Y for yes and for no in the comment section. All right, this is my cheating answer here, at least one of the 2 cheats I make here. Tony Pollard. And you might go, is this really a breakout? He's been really good. I do think there is room for another sizable, obvious breakout step forward out of Tony Pollard this year. And the one thing I want to keep harping on is that Tony Pollard has gotten a bigger workload every season. More touches, more touches, more touches, more touches, bigger role, more involved. And despite that, the efficiency has not really dropped off at all. He continues to be one of the more reliable, explosive, steady, big play threats on this Cowboys team. Now, I think that the breakout is maybe pushing, instead of 193 carries, maybe pushing somewhere in the 220, 230, maybe 240, but it's probably a bit much in the end for Pollard, just for most backs, frankly. But if he can do that, we're talking about Tony Pollard as a pretty consistent top 10 back in the NFL. So name a player who you think breaks out on offense. I got a few more names to get to, but I want to hear your names as well. If an ad comes here on YouTube, take advantage. Head down to the pinned comment and vote for a player you think breaks out on offense this year. Malik Davis. Again, I'll cheat here since Pollard is a little bit more established, and I wanted to get Davis in here too. I did not include first-year players on the breakout list because I never do. They don't have anywhere to break out from. They're new. They're just arriving, basically. But Malik Davis is a name to monitor in that RB2 role, along with a player like Ezekiel Ellliott, Deuce Vaughn, etc. Malik Davis did not play very much against San Francisco. Some whispers buzz that leading up to that game, he was upset with his playing time and his role after he showed some promise earlier that season, averaged 4.2 yards per carry in a smaller role after some injuries to Zeke and Pollard got nicked up a little bit. Wasn't happy. So made that clear to the staff. Staff said, okay, well, you're not going to play. And that led to some issues there. But now he gets a chance to truly become the RB2 for this Cowboys team behind Tony Pollard. They like Malik Davis out of Florida. The numbers don't jump off the screen for you, but it was a better efficiency than what Zeke had last year. And the Cowboys have some hopes for him this upcoming season. Now, there's a lot of competition. Deuce Vaughn, the rook. Ronald Jones, the veteran free agent signing who may or may not make the team. Malik Davis, Rico Dowdle. Somebody's got to emerge, whether on this roster or maybe even not on at this moment. And Malik Davis has a chance to be that guy for this Cowboys team this upcoming season. He's got to prove it, though, in training camp, etc. The tight ends, Jake Ferguson. I think I'll see plenty of Fergusons in the comments when we ask about player you think breaks out this year. With Dalton Schultz now gone, Ferguson is the leading returner at tight end. He's ahead of Peyton Hendershot. Might not have the same athletic skill set as Hendershot or even rookie Luke Schoonmaker, but if Ferguson can be that safety valve in the same way that Dak Prescott trusted Dalton Schultz to be, that will go a long way for a role he's able to carve out. Given his production last year, which was minimal but was efficient, 22 targets, 19 catches, 174 yards, 2 scores, there is plenty of reason to think he could, maybe not so much touchdowns, but like the catches, the yards, doubling is a very realistic possibility depending on how the Cowboys use their tight ends and how the rest of the, I don't know how to describe this delicately. Some people have a type when it comes to dating. The Cowboys have a type at tight end in Luke Schoonmaker, Jake Ferguson, Peyton Hendershot, Sean McEwen. They've all got some similar traits. They look fairly similar as well. Good luck picking them out of the lineup. Maybe they'll wear different armbands since there's a bit of an overlap in the numbers as well. But if Ferguson can emerge, that will go a long way for him in terms of being a reliable piece, not just this year, but down the road for the Cowboys at tight end. Now, we have you locked up with all the latest Cowboys news, rumors, updates, breakout candidates, whatever it is, with training camp still about a month away, but we have you covered. Hit that sub button for free Cowboys videos each and every single day right here on the Cowboys Report. Tyler Smith is next up here, and yes, I do think breakout is still the right word for Tyler Smith. Make no mistake, I was very impressed with how he played in year one. I think he exceeded the expectations around him in his first season. He impressed as a rookie. He was able to handle what was going to be a left guard role, and then now he's left tackle, and then, okay, maybe some left guard, okay, no, back at left tackle, kind of back and forth, in and out. They threw a lot on his plate, the Cowboys did, and Tyler Smith handled it really, really well, which I do think matters a lot for him looking forward in terms of his hope, his impact for this Cowboys team. But we're focused in on this year, and I'm still not exactly sure what the role will look like for Tyler Smith. What I want to see him get better at is some of the plays he allowed. The footwork, the hand technique has gotten better, but to be clear, Tyler Smith was still a penalty boy last season. 13 flags is a lot of penalties. 6 sacks allowed, a little on the high side. Now, 4 of those flags were declined because normally a couple times he got tagged for a sack and a hold, which was pretty rough there. He's a great run blocker. I like a lot of what I've seen from Tyler Smith. I'm still not sure if it's left guard this year, left tackle down the road, or just left tackle period, because the Cowboys don't quite know how many games Tyron Smith will play. I would say good chance Tyler Smith has to play at least some left tackle, to be determined if it is all left tackle, or if it is still a mix and match from that perspective. So, where do you think Tyler Smith should play? Where do you want him lined up at? LT for left tackle or LG for left guard? You guys can go ahead and vote for me in the comment section. No wrong answers, just your opinion. Head down there and vote on a position for Tyler Smith. Cheating again here, as promised. Is it cheating if you say it's cheating? Probably. But anyway, pick your sixth offensive lineman. Somebody is going to have to play snaps for this team because there's just no way Tyron Smith actually stays healthy the entire time. That's not something Tyron Smith's able to do. He's always banged up. So 3 names to monitor here. Chuma Edoga, Matt Waletzko, or Matt Farniok. I think one of those 3 guys, if not multiple of them, will be counted on to play starter snaps and start games, probably at the left guard spot, given histories of Tyron Smith. Now, Chuma Edoga flashed a little bit, very briefly, last year for the Falcons, then got hurt, did not get to play really at all outside of that one game. The career stats are basically less than a season. Really bad first year with the Jets. That's why the sacks are so high and the hurries, etc., are so high. The run grade is so low. Bad first year, better last year, but small sample size. Matt Farniok, meanwhile, 0 sacks, 6 hits, 7 hurries on a small sample size is not that great. But the Cowboys coaching staff seems to like him. He can play center, guard. They think he's got some tackle emergency ability, but he's not going to be a tackle. Edoga, by the way, can play guard or tackle. Matt Waletzko, I thought, was only a tackle, but I think this new coaching staff, led by Mike Solari, the new O-line coach, likes him quite a bit. That's why they gave him some run at left guard. He's gotten some backup right tackle reps. Maybe he could be your swing tackle even. Maybe that's the path this team ends up potentially pursuing. But there is uncertainty at that left guard spot or other starting spot somewhere. The Cowboys will need one of those linemen to step up. Hopefully, they do. All right, sound off for me in the comments. Name a free agent who you guys want to sign. Go ahead and vote. No wrong answers. I will be nice. I promise you. Free agents you guys want to sign. Toxic Tom Downey breakout. Being toxic, says Darius Geis. There you go. Just a guard. That's funny. Cook. I think Earl Thomas is in there. And we got Darren Woodson. Toxic's trolling again. He has too much fun on this show. Dalton Wright. I said no wrong answers. Now people are just actively trying to give me wrong answers. Like putting Eric Berry, Patrick Mahomes, Tom Downey. All wrong answers. Because you guys remember Eric Berry, right? Yeah, medical flunked him. Dalton Reisner, DeAndre Hopkins, Dalvin Cook. There's a lot of DeAndre Hopkins in there as well. So, Elmatic7, I see your super chat. Let's just throw it in the mailbag. We'll since that's coming up next, we'll do it that way. And shut up, Sam. Dalvin Cook. Now we got Tony Dungy in there. Yeah, I have. This is my own doing there. If you have not already, please go subscribe to the Chat Sports YouTube channel. The 2023 NBA Draft will be live. We will be tipping picks, by the way. Go subscribe, youtube.com/@chatsports. We know Victor Wembanyama's going number 1. Is it going to be Brandon Miller, Scoot Henderson at 2? Will it be the Hornets or trade at that spot? Blazers at 3, same exact question. Go ahead and subscribe. youtube.com/@chatsports. Free videos over there each and every single day. All right, it is mailbag time now here on the Cowboys Report. There are 2 ways to get your questions answered. Use hashtag Cowboys or Super Chat. Now, there is a fairly lengthy line in terms of super thanks and a Super Chat from Elmatic7. So if you really want to get on the show, price Super Chat. $20, by the way. I'll do shots of bourbon on today's show for you guys. We'll up the price from last week since it's not National Bourbon Day anymore, or even the week of National Bourbon Day. So get your questions in. Hashtag Cowboys. Get your questions in the quay for producer Sam. Or if you super chat, you'll skip the line altogether. Hashtag Cowboys or super chat. Elmatic7, by the way, I see your question. I promise you'll get it. It's a good one. In the $5 super chat, we will hit that as part of the mailbag for you. Lance Dunbar's burner, it's a good one too. We'll break those both down here on today's mailbag. Welcome into the Cowboys Report. I am Tom Downey. A mailbag, as we do on all of our Monday live shows, answering your questions as they come in live or as they've come in via Super Thanks. So we'll hit all of these, a bunch of them this past week. Thank you guys so much. For Mr. Man 7828, we all wanted Marion Barber to be the starter after coming in and making an impact. How'd that turn out? Any chance TP has that same lack of having splits with Zeke? I do think we're remembering more of the back end of Barber and not that middle portion of Barber where he was the lead back and had some really great success. Now, the Cowboys didn't run the ball that much for a portion of that time frame, but the numbers for Pollard going for 1,000 yards were better than any year Barber had, but Barber didn't fall off until a little bit later, which was also his running style. Like his very violent running style added up by the time we got to year 5, year 6. Pollard's not the same style from that perspective. Now, these are coming in via Super Thanks. It's just like a Super Chat, except instead of live, you can do it on any video that you're watching. You can click the little heart icon with the $sign in the middle, and then all you have to do is just edit your message, donate whatever you want, and it's pretty much that simple. So go support us with a Super Thanks. Anyone that comes in, we will give you guys some love and give you a shout out on the show. Appreciate everyone who has done that. Now we have a $50 Super Thanks from my guy Mark Clark, 2007. He says Tony Pollard is not only better than Dalvin Cook, I'll make an argument he has been the best back the last 2 seasons at 5.2 and 5.5 yards per carry. It's not his fault the team was running to 225 rush attempts both years. How about them Cowboys? Plus, put Jimmy in the Ring of Honor, Jerry. Jerry said he's not, but he should. Now, for a $50 Super Thanks, I think that's worthy of a shot. Everyone type Mark in the comment section show him some love for the $50 Super Thanks. Cheers to you. Bottoms up. Thank you, Mark. I appreciate it. All right, from Mighty Ant. Yeah, Zeke was gassed in the season, but the way he's been workloaded, you run up the middle every touch by Kellen, but something has to give. Not entirely sure what you're going for there, to be honest, Mighty Ant. But that's Zeke's style because Zeke's not fast enough to get to the outside. So I kind of got to know with how much they ran the ball, just dive with Zeke. But he couldn't do the stretch plays, unfortunately. From Picking You Off, 8416, Adam ranks as we go 9 and 8. I wouldn't worry too much about what guys with various record predictions. Historically, those are not very accurate, which is fine. That's how the whole thing tends to be. It's football. There are surprises. So I wouldn't worry too much on that front. Now, I still want you guys to comment because I think you guys got a great feel for the Cowboys team as well. What will the Cowboys record be this year? It is today's pinned comment. So if an ad comes here on YouTube, take advantage of it. Head down there and predict the Cowboys record right now. Mr. Man 7828. If the Cowboys were a sitcom, which one would they be? I thought about this one for a while. In the end, I'm going to go with How I Met Your Mother. It starts off pretty good, and then at the end, it's kind of a mess. And it does not leave everyone happy. We're all a bit disappointed by how it finishes. That's my comparison. From Cool Sharky 1. Should have traded Diggs to the Bills for a first and second round. Then we could have drafted Mozzie plus Kincaid or JPJ in round 1. Would have had more money for a free agent as well. I don't know if you would have gotten a first and a second for Trayvon Diggs. That's a lot for a player. Also, you're then plugging in Joey Porter Jr.'s maybe as good, but probably isn't going to be as good as Trayvon Diggs. So I would have been fine just keeping him and planning to pay Trayvon myself. A $5 super chat now. Back to the live comments from Elmatic7. NFL Channel on SiriusXM said the Cowboys' most complete team in the NFC with Cooks, Gilmore, Overshown, Schoonmaker, and Vaughn. True. We're hyping up two day 2 picks and a 6th rounder. That's a lot to go there. I would not say that they're the most complete team in the NFC. In general, when people start talking about the most complete team, they're kind of taking the quarterback out of the equation to an extent, which we can do for a little bit here. But the ones stand out to me are still the Niners and the Eagles. Both of those two teams, I think, overall roster-wise, are still better than Dallas. Doesn't mean they'll be better. Doesn't mean they'll play better. But I would say Niners or Philadelphia are still your most complete teams. From Lance Dunbar's burner account, better rapper, Kelvin Joseph or Cole Beasley? Cole Beasley. I actually thought 80 Stings was a bit of a banger, but I didn't care for much of the rest of the album, and I don't think Boss Man Fat's that good. So I'm gonna go with Cole Beasley on that front. Now, we will have mailbags for you guys each and every single week, but if you want to be a part of them, you have to be subscribed. Hit that sub button right now, youtube.com/@CowboysTV. From my burner account, let's extend another running back. What could go wrong? He's got the Ezekiel Ellliott snap as in block attempt. That's his profile picture, if you can't tell, by the way. Oh, Pollard is... you're right. You play a very dangerous game of it'll be different this time, even though there's a long track record of running back contracts not working out very well. Aaron Jones already took a pay cut. Zeke got cut. Dalvin Cook got cut. Joe Mixon is maybe pay cut / last year of his deal. We'll see. There's been buzz about that. Christian McCaffrey got traded. Derrick Henry's actually played pretty well the last time of that deal. That one's worked out pretty solidly so far. There hasn't really been it's like, yeah, it was a great one. Austin Eckler. Eckler is your outlier, but that was a pretty cheap contract. The argument for Pollard is, well, he's had a light workload. He's still young. He's still fresh. Maybe it could be a bit different since he is so explosive. If you do extend him, you got to structure the contract a lot better than you did with Elliott. $5 from Edwin Strickland. Thank you, Edwin. For the last 4 years, Cook has had 1,000 yards, and 2 years were 1,500. Yes. Now remember, Dalvin Cook's also had a pretty heavy workload in that time frame. And the big concern over Dalvin Cook is, A, those 1,500 yards. Well, there was one over 1,500, to be clear. Everything else over 1,000. One over 1,500 was in 2020. And the yards per carry has dipped the last 3 years. It's not about was Dalvin Cook a great football player. It's what are you going to get out of the age 28 season for Dalvin Cook with over almost 1,300 carries on his resume. The last 3 years of regression should raise some red flags there. From Lance Dunbar's burner, does producer Sam like Dak or is he a hater? Sam will take whichever approach gets the biggest rise out of you guys. So I think today, okay, Sam says no, he wants to dispute it, but I think he knows that. See, he says serious take, he likes Dak. Okay, serious take, he likes Dak, and I'll spare you guys the non-serious take that he said in my ear that was just ridiculous. $5 again from Eli Aaron. Thank you, my friend. We have a good team. We're just not consistent at the end of the year. Start off good. Every player wants to go on vacation. That's why we fail. I don't think it's that every player wants to go on vacation. I think you got a lot of diehard competitors on this football team. I think that part of it is you're trying to be, the last couple of years, trying to be a top 4 team. Well, if you're the 5th or 6th team, you just don't get there all the way. So I think that's been your issue. You've been good, not quite good enough. From Dumb Man 2, first off, you're not dumb. You have value, anonymous YouTube commenter. Trade for Josh Jacobs. We had the super chat about, pay another back. This would be the route I really don't want to do. I like Josh Jacobs, a great football player, don't get me wrong, but it defeats the purpose of what you're trying to do at running back, which is be a little bit cheaper. You can't have a assumed extension for Josh Jacobs and pay Tony Pollard $10 million. That's way too much money to invest into your running back room, and you're going to run into the same issue you just had at some point down the line. Now, when it comes to trade ideas, you guys can have some fun. Throw them in the comment section. Good or bad, get those trade ideas in there. Bonus points if they're realistic. If they're just to troll me, it's fine too. Mr. J, why don't we give Malik Davis more carries? He'd be a solid number 2 back behind Pollard. I think in the Niners playoff game, the coaching staff was mad at him because Davis wanted more playing time and complained about it, allegedly. This year, though, great chance that happens. That's kind of why I want to get to training camp. See how these young guys fare. See if they can emerge, Davis or Dowdle or Deuce Vaughn or even a Ronald Jones. If one of them do emerge, great. Otherwise, let's see what happens. Ian Cardaris, sign Dalvin for the 7, kill the league with him and Pollard, let them both walk in a year. It's paying $17 million, though, for your running back room this year. It's a lot of money. But if you're not committing to it long term, maybe you could meet some of the RBs don't matter group halfway on that front. 7's still a lot for me for a backup running back. That's what Cook would be. So it was a tough question. That's why I posed it earlier, but I don't know what the right route is. JND, would you consider bringing in Teddy Bridgewater to compete for the QB3 job with Will Grier? I would not be mad about that. I mean, it's quarterback 3. There are no young guys you can find and develop since the draft's over. I don't know if Bridgewater wants to take a job where he has to compete for that. If he is willing and he can't find a locked and loaded spot, then sure. I have no complaints there. Will Grier's kind of lost his sponsor, so to speak, with Doug Nussmeier recruiting back to Florida, now gone. But yeah, I would have no complaints about signing Bridgewater to be quarterback 3 option if it's cheap enough. Yeah. Super chat, $2. Lance Dunbar's burner. Will the seat ever be hot for Stephen Jones? No. Unless Stephen Jones, goes full Donald Sterling, no. Nothing that's going to do that in terms of, on-field results. He gets to be the owner. That's the issue with the whole second-generational wealth type of thing, right? There's no pressure on him. There's no urgency. Like a normal GM of I got to win now or I'm getting fired. No. It's I could try again 10 years from now. There's no, that little bit of urgency can be a good thing. It's not there for this Cowboys team currently. Chris B, kind of troll trade idea. Oh boy. But hey, why not? Trade for Aaron Donald at the deadline if the Rams stink, make our D-line absolutely stacked. If the Rams stink, I could still see Aaron Donald saying, nah, I just want to retire a Ram. But something tells me, Chris, if they are bad, there will be people trying to make that happen, not just in Dallas, by the way. Wouldn't get my hopes up, don't get me wrong. But I think it's probably a bit more on the unlikely side. From Jerry's burner, would you trade for Joe Mixon? Again, same issue with all these different back questions of you're paying a lot of money. For a guy, by the way, that has not actually been that efficient. Now, I think the Bengals' offensive line in recent years has been pretty damned rough. So we can certainly blame the O-line for that. But, I mean, Bengals can air it out. It's been fairly easy boxes for Mixon to run through. I don't think he's bad, but he's owed $10 million or something. So no real desire to potentially add Mixon to the fold at his current contract. A lot of running back questions today. Can't say I'm surprised. Is that the biggest need on this Cowboys roster? I don't think so. I think it's left guard or kicker. What do you think the biggest need is? Sound off in the comment section. From Tyler, are there any free agents next year or next year's draft that can become our new center or DT? I want to replace Biadasz or Osa Odigizua. Who's going to really help the team? We'll see about the draft. There will be players who emerge. Free agency options as well. You might find that Biadasz is among your better ones. Osa's under contract next year, so they would probably look for a bigger name as opposed to just a cheap replacement potentially. That's a future question that we will have plenty of time with to do, 8 months from now or 6 months from now, whatever the math actually is. From Brokoff, if Dak Prescott wins the Super Bowl this year, what are your all-time Cowboys Super Bowl Cowboys quarterback rankings? Okay, it is Roger Staubach, Troy Aikman, Dak Prescott, Tony Romo, Danny White, I guess is the fifth spot. It's maybe a bit more debatable there. I think if Dak wins it this year, I think he's pretty clearly, undisputably ahead of Romo, but still behind the better duo of Aikman and Roger the Dodger, both of whom are two of the better quarterbacks in NFL history. It is National Candy Month, folks. So what is your favorite candy? Go ahead and vote in the comment section. No wrong answer. It's candy. I mean, actually, you know what? There are wrong answers here. There are wrong answers. I know it's your opinion. Your opinion can be wrong. Skittles, good answer. Good answer. Mike and Ike's, good answer. Hot tamales. Don't think it's a great answer, to be honest. Reese's, good choice. Good choice. Snickers, awesome. Sour gummy worms or Reese's, good call. You can have a favorite like a favorite like chocolate base or peanut butter base, and a favorite like gummy base one. Sweet Tarts, Lifesaver gummies, solid choice there, Brokov. Rolos, okay. Kit Kat, fine. Chunky Bar, it's fine. Candy Cone, playing with that one. Almond Joy lovers, please go to the AFC. See, that's a wrong answer. Almond Joys are bad. An example of a wrong answer, I should say. Sweet Tarts, Jolly Rancher, Hot Tamales. I don't like Hot Tamales. I don't want spicy in my candy. I want sugary or sweet. That's just my mindset. Jolly Rancher, good choice. Snickers, sweet and sour, cool. Not Peeps, also an example of a bad candy. Peeps are garbage. That's where they belong. They're terrible. They're not delicious. Tootsie Rolls are mediocre, but they're acceptable. Let me put it this way. When you have, Sam asked about Tootsie Rolls. When you are going through all your Halloween candy, you know what gets eaten the least out of all the Halloween candy? It's Tootsie Rolls. No, yes, it is, Sam. It's the last one to get eaten. It's just not. They're just mediocre. There's something that's going to be better in that bag of candy. By the time you've got only Tootsie Rolls left, you don't really want the candy anymore. You've had enough of it. Starburst, Twix. Oh, Jason's got a great one. The Hershey's Cookies and Cream Bar is delicious. That is one of the most underrated candy. Three Musketeers are fine. Candy corn or circus peanuts as the worst ones. I have not thought about circus peanuts in a long time because they are trash. Licorice, and then people are now commenting like carrots or apples. Lance Dunbar's Hot Tamale or Tootsie Roll. I guess Tootsie Roll for me. They're not that great though. Candy, cigarettes. Do they even make those anymore? I remember them, but there's like the whole, maybe we shouldn't be encouraging children to do that type of deal there. Skittles. I'm gonna Google it. Do they still make candy cigarettes or no? Can you still buy them? Oh, you can. I'm looking. I think you can actually still get them, but they're a little bit expensive. Yeah, you can still get them to an extent. Indifferent. They're not exactly a good message, I suppose, from that perspective. So remember, folks, to subscribe to the Chat Sports YouTube channel for the 2023 NBA Draft. YouTube.com/chatsports. Link to it is in the comment section, or the live chat, I should say, right now. It's on Thursday. Spurs get Wemby. Who do the Rockets get? The Blazers get? Does Zion get traded? Does Brandon Miller stay in or go to Charlotte, to Portland, or somebody else altogether? Does Dame Lillard get moved? There's going to be a lot of drama this year for the NBA Draft, so make sure you guys are subscribed. YouTube.com/@chatsports. Today's Cowboys Report made possible by RexMD, the online source for men's wellness. They are the #1 leader in men's telehealth. Get 90% off and only pay $2 per dosage at rexmd.com/chat. Tell you more about them later on in today's show as we break down some free agency rumors for the Cowboys. But first, if you want the Cowboys to make a move before training camp, even if that's only for a kicker, which maybe they'll do, we'll see at some point, I suppose, like the video. Right now, it is backed by science. We have the data. The more you like it, the more likely it is for it to happen. So like today's video right now as we break down the latest on Dalvin Cook to begin today's show. Cook is looking to get paid a pretty decent amount of money, folks. After the Vikings cut him, he wants a sizable role, and I don't know if he's going to get either of those things in Dallas. That might be pushing a little bit too hard for what Dallas prefers compared to what Dalvin Cook is looking for, which is within his rights and his range of expectation. He'll also be a bit patient since, training camp's in about a month, so you're not going to do anything right this second. But here's what Dalvin Cook told Tom Pelissero with what he's looking for in free agency. I want the value. I want somebody who values Dalvin Cook. I want somebody that wants me to be there and give me the ball. I just want to go in the right situation so I can go help somebody win. Like you said, the money's going to come. If you play good football, they're going to pay you. I just want to go somewhere where it feels like it's home, help somebody win, and just go be me. Just go turn it loose and look for a home. That's it. I would say, despite the whole I want to help somebody win, when you lead that off with I want the value, you're looking to get paid and have a role. And I'm not sure that's Dallas as long as Tony Pollard is healthy. The reality is that Tony Pollard is a better football player right now than Dalvin Cook. Pollard has not shown any signs of decline despite the injury last year. Dalvin Cook has. His numbers have not been the same the past couple of years, as we'll get into. Now, I kind of mentioned the maybe waiting standpoint. Here's what ESPN's Jeremy Fowler says on that. I'm told Dalvin Cook is going to be patient here, not on any major rush to sign. And he could wait for Barkley and those other franchise tag backs because that's the new contract comps that he can work with to see what's out there. He's been linked to Miami. There could be teams like Denver that could be looking for an extra back. So a lot of interest so far. I'm told Dalvin feels good coming off his torn labrum surgery. He's going to absorb even more contact or absorb contact even better this year. That franchise tag deadline is July 17th. Could have almost a month of this still, folks. The big concern I have with Dalvin Cook, look at what's happened the past 3 years. The yards have gone down, and the average has dropped fairly significantly. We have seen that type of regression from other backs in recent years, and the results are not good the following year. They don't suddenly recapture it outside of like Adrian Peterson as maybe your lone example there. So I do have concerns about Dalvin Cook and what he wants. 1 year, $3 million? Hell yeah, let's ride. 1 year, $5 million? Okay. 1 year, 7, 8, 9? Oh, that's a lot of money. So what do you think? Do you want Dalvin Cook on the Dallas Cowboys? It is the pinned comment on today's show. So if an ad comes here on the YouTube side of things, cool, that's fine. Take advantage of it. Head down there, type in Y for yes or N for no. Let's go back to Ezekiel Ellliott once again. I know, I'm sorry, folks. But Elliott was spotted working with Dak and other Cowboys teammates. Zeke is still in the area, in the Dallas area, by the way, and was at the team facility earlier this month. A reunion, I think, remains pretty unlikely, even at this stage, with just what Ezekiel Ellliott is and what I think he wants and what the Cowboys want and just the whole situation in general. But here's the photo. Nonetheless, not the first time, by the way, that Zeke's been working out with Dak, his good buddy in the Cowboys, because you know what? Hey, there are other players on other teams who might occasionally work out with Dak in the backyard or at a mutual meetup site if it's raining outside that day or whatever. He was also, by the way, at the team facility a couple weeks ago. I'm not entirely sure why. I think it was just something minor, picking up some stuff, but he was there. Doesn't sound like anything's close though at the stage. More on Zeke in a moment, but first, Today's show is made possible by RexMD. If you sometimes lack some confidence in the bedroom, if you want to have a more fulfilling sex life, if this time next year you want to be celebrating Father's Day, you are not alone. So I to tell you guys about RexMD, the online source for men's wellness. They offer an easy and discreet way to get the medication you need for ED without having to visit a doctor's office. With a few clicks, you can have your medication delivered straight to your door at a fraction of the cost of traditional pharmacies. RexMD's team of licensed physicians will work with you to find the right treatment plan, and their medication is made in the USA. You can trust its quality, and their customer support is available 24/7 to answer any questions you may have or concerns as well. If you want to take control of your sex life, say goodbye to ED, head over to rexmd.com/chat and start your consultation today. Take advantage of the best they've ever offered. It's up to 90% off and only pay $2 per dosage with our exclusive link. Go to rexmd.com/chat for this limited time deal. Starter packs of generic Viagra or Cialis are now available for our listeners to get started. That's rexmd.com/chat for up to 90% off. Links in the comments section and the description of today's show. As for Ezekiel Ellliott here, again, the numbers have been, they were bad last year. They just weren't good. They've been not great for 3 years now. I don't think it's going to get any better. And you can talk me into a smaller role, the fullback idea, right? I don't know if that's something Zeke wants to do. And I think in the end, the Cowboys want to see what these young guys can do. They want to see, hey, can Deuce Vaughn be a piece for us? Not just a great story. Can he be the guy that I thought he was coming out of Kansas State? Can Malik Davis or Rico Dowdle emerge at some point? Is Ronald Jones going to be a piece for you? I think that's what they would prefer. Now, I'm going to challenge you guys to play this game with me here. You have to pick one. No cheating. Which would you rather have? One, so go type ones if you want this. Dalvin Cook at $7 million. Two, for Ezekiel Ellliott at $3 million. Have to pick one. Go type 1 or 2 in the comment section. Leonard Fournette is next up here, as he was listed as a top fit by Jordan Schultz, friend of the show. Schultz was much more praiseworthy of Fournette than maybe I would be at this stage in his career. He does bring the size, the proven size, as a potential bigger back that this Cowboys team doesn't really have at this stage. They're a little bit on the lighter side, the skinnier side. But here's what Jourdan Schultz pitched and why he could make sense for a team like the Cowboys. Playoff Lenny has bided his time as the market stagnates. However, there's interest from several teams for the physically imposing runner whose playoff exploits drew rave reviews from both Tom Brady and Rob Gronkowski. They loved the clutch factor from Fournette who helped lead them to the Super Bowl. And that's true. Playoff Lenny was great. He was not playoff Lenny last year. He was JV Lenny. It was bad. 3.5 yards per carry. I have ragged on Zeke plenty on this show. Many of you have done so in the comments, and understandably so. 3.5 is horrible. Now, I know that offense line in Tampa was pretty bad, but I'm not thinking like, yes, now we fixed it. Like I worry that the best of Fournette has come and gone. So, look, as I've said before, let me see the young guys. Let me see what Deuce Vaughn can do. Ronald Jones once lost his job to Fournette, but he's younger now. Or Fournette's older, and Jones is still young. I should phrase it that way. Maybe he's the piece. I'm not sure. Maybe it's Malik Davis. Maybe it's Rico Dowdle. Let's wait and see. Let's get through a few weeks of training camp. Then make a call about adding a vet back. Now, if you guys want even more Dallas Cowboys YouTube videos, this is the right spot for you. Hit that sub button right now, youtube.com/@CowboysTV. Free videos every single day when you guys are subscribed. So don't miss out. Hit that sub button right now. You knew we'd hit DeAndre Hopkins, right? I mean, come on, you guys ask about it every show we do. How can I not give you what you guys are asking for? Updated, he took visits to the Titans and the Patriots. Those wrapped up last week. Unclear if he will take more visits or if he'll sign with a team soon, a month from now, a week from now, before training camp, midway through camp, whatever. It is uncertain when the exact standpoint will go from that front. What's noteworthy is he had been telling people around Dallas, because he was visiting and training, he wanted to be a Cowboy. And then Dallas picked Brandon Cooks as the trade. And then Hopkins like, oh, I don't want to be a Cowboy. Kind of feels like the I got dumped, so you're saying I dumped her type of deal. Which, hey, you know what? Spin however you need to. Hopkins' value is not what I thought it was going to be, to be honest. I am surprised he got cut. I thought someone would trade for him. Apparently not. The issue Dallas has with this is the Cowboys view their big three as set. They view it as Lamb and Cooks and Gallup. Whether we agree with Hopkins not being better than Cooks or Gallup, which I don't think most of us agree that Hopkins is the fourth of that group, the Cowboys have committed to those guys. So the fourth receiver is an insurance policy. The fourth receiver is a special teamer who plays there. If there's an injury, a bad one, that would change things. But they're not going to spend a premium for a guy that they would count as their fourth receiver. That's not how the Cowboys do business, and they have shown so far no interest in DeAndre Hopkins. All right, back to the pin poll today. Do you want to extend Tony Pollard? P for pay, W for wait. The pin poll, 70% say yes right now. Look, David Stoll says one receiver will get hurt. I agree, but players also don't want to sign waiting around to be the backup policy. That's where they're at. So do you want to extend Pollard? P for pay, W for wait. A lot of waits now in there from Charles Miller, Brokov, David Stoll. 70% on the yes side of it, over 400-plus votes. Appreciate that, guys. Dwayne Sweetney says P. Tristan says W. JCL's commenting how long they've been a Cowboys fan for. You might be way behind on the show. It's fine. There you go. Tristan says A. I assume means pay. Waits again from Mr. J and Tristan Edwards. That's it for today's live show. Make sure you guys are subscribed so you don't miss out. YouTube.com/@CowboysTV. Free Cowboys videos every single day right here on the channel. No loop today, but remember to go subscribe to the Chat Sports YouTube channel. YouTube.com/@ChatSports. The 2023 NBA Draft will be live on that channel. We will be tipping picks, so make sure you guys are subscribed over there. YouTube.com/@ChatSports. More Cowboys videos all week long. Thanks for tuning in.